Opportunities under SPV 2030 only for those who produce results. Government studying ways to decriminalize suicide. You're watching the evening edition of News on 2. I'm Adrian Seat. The government will make sure that opportunities under the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030 will be made available only to those who can produce results. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir said they should prepare themselves with training and necessary skills when given opportunities by the government.
The objective is to make every single Malaysian feel that he or she has a stake in the country, and to achieve that, we have to ensure sustainable development and a fair distribution of economic wealth through equitable growth at all levels of incomes, ethnic groups, states, and regions. It is not merely a dream. We have incorporated the shared prosperity strategies into our recent 2020 budget. And we expect that it will be all system go by 2021.
The Premier also said Malaysians need to respond accordingly towards incentives or programs outlined in the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030 in order for it to be successful, noting that in many cases it was the weakness of implementation that had caused Malaysia not to achieve the target. Tun Dr. Mahathir said people with the right attitude could contribute much towards making achievements. Tun Dr. Mahathir also expressed his confidence that the current civil service can contribute in more efficient ways in achieving national agenda. Malaysia is looking to enhance its collaboration with ASEAN neighbours to cushion the impact of the US-China trade war. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said a trade war between the world's two largest economies is bound to fracture the world trading system. Companies and businesses, Tun Dr. Mahathir said, need to plan smoothly to avoid disruption.
Competitiveness. We must also develop our own world-class companies that can take on all rivals. One way to achieve this is by identifying our assets and capabilities so as to enhance our capacities to take advantage of the new technologies. And that includes the quality of our human resources.
The Premier said this in his keynote address at the ISIS Praxis Conference in Kuala Lumpur. He said export-reliant Malaysia could be hit with trade sanctions amid rising protectionism highlighted by the US-China tariff war, adding his disappointment that proponents of free trade are now indulging in restrictive trade practices on a grand scale. Meanwhile, during the question and answer session, the Prime Minister said the presence of warships in the South China Sea can lead to big accidents and unnecessary conflicts in the area. He said at the moment ships are still free to roam in the area without any obstructions, but warned that any presence of warships might lead to bigger issues.
Our appeal to the big powers is to keep out all these weapons of war in this area, because there may be accidents, and as you know, accidents may lead to wars. We know that when the Archduke Ferdinand was killed in Sarajevo, 7 million people lost their lives after that. So we don't want to have any accident at all.
On another note, Tun Dr. Mahathir said it was a near miracle that Malaysia was not bankrupted due to the damage done by the previous kleptocratic regime as they turned the nation's coffers into their personal kitty. The Premier said the damage was not just financial but institutional as well.
One of the biggest challenges after successfully toppling the kleptocratic regime was mopping up the mess left behind and rebuilding the nation. it will take a lot of efforts, time and money. What we found after we took over was far worse than what we believe was the damage that has been caused. While 1MDB is without doubt a monstrosity, we will never be able to fully fathom the damage it caused the nation. Beyond the corruption and the financial shenanigans, the whole machinery of government was subverted and weakened. A considerable amount of government revenue now have to go to pay debts, leaving inadequate funds for operation and development.
The Premier further noted that for the country to recover and to grow, the machinery of the government must be restored and made efficient. Kuala Lumpur High Court today was told that the 1MDB Board of Directors did not know about the $700 million loan agreement signed by the 1MDB Petro Saudi International Limited joint venture company in 2009 prior to the actual joint venture agreement between both sovereign wealth funds. Former 1MDB Chief Executive Officer Dato' Sharul Azral Ibrahim Halmi, who disclosed the matter, however, said that he was not involved in the discussions of the particular loan agreement deal. Dato' Shahrul was cross-examined by Dato' Sri Najib Tun Razak's lawyer Tan Sri Muhammad Shafi Abdullah on the 25th day of the former Premier's 1MDB trial. When asked why he did not check the matter with Dato' Sri Najib, the 9th prosecution witness said the whole thing was managed by 1MDB Executive Director KC Tang, and he assumed KC, with his superior experience, would ensure everything was in order. To another question, the witness agreed that he has never actually seen the loan agreement during his tenure at 1MDB from 2009 until 2016. Dato' Sri Najib faces 4 charges of using his position to obtain bribes totaling 2.3 billion ringgit from 1MDB funds and 21 charges of money laundering involving the same amount. Hearing before Judge Colin Lawrence Sequeira continues on Thursday. A Felda officer was charged at the Shah Alam Sessions Court today on 4 counts of concealing cheque payments amounting to over 14,000 ringgit. Now, the accused, Abdul Manap Siddiq, 50, however, pleaded not guilty and claimed trial after the charges were read to him in front of presiding judge Rusila Saleh. On all 4 charges, Abdul Mana was charged to have concealed cheque payments amounting to over 14,000 ringgit to be made to Nurmah Safi and One Manap Enterprise via a voucher into a bank account belonging to the accused. He had allegedly committed the offence on the 18th of August 2017 at the Felda Sungai Tenggi office in Hulu Selangor. Charged under Section 424 of the Penal Code, the accused faces a maximum 5 years imprisonment and/or fine upon conviction. Earlier, Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission or MACC Prosecution Officer Michael Jomin requested bail to be set at 20,000 ringgit. The accused, who was not represented, requested for a lower bail amount as he has a family to support plus an ailing mother-in-law. Bail was then set at 10,000 ringgit with 1 surety, and the accused was ordered to hand over his passport to the court. Remention has been set on 26th of November. A man and his wife were charged in the Kota Bharu Sessions Court today for allegedly smuggling 20 illegal immigrants from Myanmar last month. Now, the accused, Hussein Sulaiman, 48, and Mahfuza Isa, 38, nodded to indicate they understood when the charge was read before Judge Ahmad Bazli Barudin, but no plea was recorded. According to the charge, Hussein and Mahfuza on the 24th of September at about 1:30 p.m. were alleged to have smuggled in 20 Myanmar nationals, aged between 20 and 50, at a house in Kampung Tok Lebebeta in Ketere. They were charged under Section 26A of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling Migrants Act, or ATIPSOM 2007, and read together with Section 34 of the Penal Code, which provides a maximum jail term of 15 years and a fine upon conviction. Meanwhile, in the same court, Zulkafli Hussein, 56, a bus driver, was charged with failing to ensure that 6 Myanmar nationals aged 20 to 30 had valid travel documents at the Ketere bus station on the 22nd of September. According to the charge, Zulkifli, along with another man still at large on the 22nd of September at 12:15 p.m. as a transport operator for a commercial purpose, a transnational bus had failed to ensure that 6 Myanmar nationals on board the bus had valid travel documents at a Katere bus station. The accused was charged under Section 26K, subsection 1 of Atipsom 2007, which is punishable under Section 26K, subsection 2 of the same law, and read together with Section 34 of the Penal Code, which carries a fine of up to 250,000 ringgit or a maximum jail term of up to 5 years or both if convicted. The court disallowed bail and set the 21st of November for mention of both cases. Deputy Public Prosecutor Wan Nurul Hanini Wan Ahmad Shukri prosecuted, while the 3 accused were unrepresented. A man died after losing control of his motorcycle and crashing into a parked bus along Jalan Kangkok Batukawa in Kuching, Sarawak early this morning. Commenting further on the incident, Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Alexon Nagachabu said in the 3:15 a.m. incident, the 32-year-old local man identified as Engkang Anak Selutan sustained serious injuries in the head and died at the scene. He also said during the incident the bus driver was sleeping at a nearby house. The Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief further noted that the driver was detained for 24 hours to assist in the investigation, and the case is now being investigated under Section 41, subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act of 1987. Coming up, free tertiary education in the pipeline. That story is up next. You're watching News on Tuesday. Stay with us. Welcome back. The government is moving towards decriminalizing suicide by looking to amend existing laws that categorize attempted suicide by a criminal offence. Now, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said that herself and Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad had stressed upon the need for the government to review Section 309 of the Penal Code, which deals with attempt to commit suicide. Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Azizah also noted that the number of such attempts nationwide were increasing, and discussions over the matter have been conducted between the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development, the Health Ministry and the Prime Minister's Department.
Saya dan Dr. Zul, Menteri Kesihatan, telah menekankan keperluan kerajaan mengkaji semula Seksyen 309. Hakim dulu, bekas hakim dia tahulah. Seksyen 309 Kanun Keseksaan supaya kita tak criminalize, ya. Tapi kita tidak mahu juga ini untuk menggalakkan senang ke mudah ke, tapi kita nak buatkan sebagai satu penyakit, ya. Dan kita bagi kepada pejabat AG, ya, Attorney General, untuk meneliti dan mengkaji perundangan sedia ada. Dan lepas tu kita akan bincang dengan lebih teliti dengan Menteri Perundangan VK Liew, ya.
She was met after launching the digital space at Serendah National Skills Development Centre. She was commenting on the recommendation by Mental Health Promotion Advisory Council member Tan Sri Lilam Tai, who urged the government to abolish laws that categorize attempted suicide as a criminal offence. The government's move to impose stricter conditions to be followed by the rare earth mining company Lynas Malaysia Sdn Bhd, or Lynas, will be continuously monitored by the Atomic Energy Licensing Board. Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Deputy Minister Isna Raisa Munira Majlis said the conditions for extension of Lynas's operating license was aimed, amongst others, at ending the production of radioactive residue which could pose a threat to the safety of the surrounding population.
Kita telah pun mengenakan syarat yang lebih ketat berbanding dengan kerajaan yang lama ya. Dan saya ingin ulang balik, antara syarat-syarat yang telah ditetapkan adalah Lynas hendaklah mengemukakan perancangan bagi pembinaan kemudahan fasiliti cracking and leaching di luar negara bagi tujuan memindahkan proses tersebut yang kini dijalankan di lojinya di Gebeng Kuantan. Kemudahan cracking dan leaching di luar negara hendaklah dibina dan mula beroperasi dalam tempoh 4 tahun dari tarikh sah lesen tersebut. Dengan syarat ini, kita mahu pastikan bahawa penghasilan residu reduktif oleh operasi Lynas dihentikan.
She was replying to Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob of Bera, who wanted to know the government's reasons for allowing the Lynas plant in Kuantan to continue its operations and its impact on the health of the people. It was noted that last August, the government had announced the renewal of the Lynas operating license, which should have been expired in September for a period of 6 months, with stricter conditions to be met by the Australian-based company. The Education Ministry is in the midst of its final study on the implementation of free tertiary education promised in the Pakatan Harapan's election manifesto. Its Minister Dr. Mazli Malik told the Dewan Rakyat today that the promise will be fulfilled in a few years' time once the implementation mechanism was finalized. Now, he added that his ministry is in the final phase of the study on cutting down fees charged by public universities.
Pendidikan pertama, jika kita melihat di peringkat persekolahan memang tidak dikenakan bayaran yuran kepada anak-anak sekolah. Dan itu di percuma yang dibincangkan secara pendidikan percuma ialah di peringkat universiti. Yang mana di samping subsidi yang diberikan oleh kerajaan tetapi masih terdapat yuran yang minimal masih lagi dibayar oleh pelajar dan ini masih lagi dalam peringkat penelitian terakhir kita untuk melihat mekanisme yang terbaik. Di waktu ini, kerajaan terpaksa meletakkan prioriti terhadap pembayaran hutang yang begitu banyak ditinggalkan.
The Dewan Rakyat proceedings were temporarily disrupted today when Nibong Tebal MP, backbencher Datuk Mansor Othman collapsed while speaking during the debate session, forcing the proceedings to be adjourned for several minutes. A medical team standing by outside the Dewan Rakyat was summoned to provide first aid, and Datuk Mansor, who regained consciousness, was helped out of the house. Datuk Mansor of PKR had spoken haltingly and swayed before he fell, but was saved from a hard fall by Subang Jaya MP Wong Chen, while Ledang MP Syed Ibrahim Syed Noor lunged forward to check the fall as well. Dewan Rakyat Deputy Speaker Nga Kor Ming, who was in the chair, summoned the medical team to provide first aid. Nga adjourned the House for about 5 minutes. Reacting to the incident, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Aziza Wan Ismail said Datuk Mansor might have suffered a syncopal attack when he was speaking during the proceedings. She said Datuk Mansor had regained consciousness shortly after she attended to him in the House.
Dia okey dah. Masa saya sampai dia dah okey, dia dah boleh bercakap, dia dah kenal. Saya tanya ni kenal tak? Siapa dia kenal. Dan blood pressure pun naik dah semua dan gula pun okey. Jadi dia akan pergi check up lagi lah.
Dia akan terus pergi check up lah sekarang?
Ya.
Barusan ada tahu kenapa awal rebas tadi kenapa?
Doktor kata kemungkinan dia panggil syncopal attack. Bila dia bangun, bercakap, lepas tu dia blood pressure turun sikit, lepas tu dia macam pitam lah.
Our sports segment concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, opportunities under SPV 2030 only for those who produce results. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more news updates. Until then, I'm Adrian Seat. Thanks for watching.